What is up, people? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Nick Spinelli Show. Welcome. Thank you all for joining me. It's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We do this every Tuesday at noon. We got a lot of great things planned for you. I got a lot of great stuff to talk to you about. Had a crazy weekend. I want to talk to you about a couple events I had. I was on reality TV this weekend. No big deal, okay? Just no big deal. No big deal. All right, it just happened to be on reality TV this week, but I'm going to, explain to you guys how all that stuff worked and everything. I actually made this, good morning, everybody, by the way. William, DJG, Carlitos, Batuta, thank you for joining us. What's up? We are now, by the way, exclusively streaming this on YouTube. If you didn't catch last week, that's what I do now. Twitch is dead to me as far as this live show because I'm not dealing with all the restreams and all the bullshits. Not doing it, people. But I want to tell you about my weekend, and it's pretty cool. Check out. I made a little graphic to kind of give you guys a little visual of what my weekend looked like, right? So everything started out, I went outside of Philadelphia, did a wedding on Friday, and then drove home. Okay, great wedding. Drove home, went sleepy time, got some rest. Then I woke up the next morning, me and Santi went up right over the border into New York State, right at the View on Hudson, north of New York City, right on Hudson there. And then we drove back kind of slow. We were tired, I guess. We drove back kind of slow and brought it all the way back home down to South Jersey. And because I'm stupid and I didn't grab a hotel room, I had to go back up to New York. I worked with Paul, and it was even more north, way up West Hills, some shit in New York State. Drove all the way back home from that. Got hungry. Shouldn't have stopped. I stopped at Wawa, though. Shouldn't have done that. Very bad mistake. Ate a sandwich late at night. And then I drove home, and then that was the end of my weekend. So I was basically on tour all weekend. I had 3 weddings, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and not one of them were in New Jersey. Not one. Everyone, it was PA, New York, and then New York. Crazy, right? But I learned a lot this weekend, and I want to share this stuff with you guys. The whole thing in general was just a learning experience when it comes to the show and everything. So I was on Say Yes to the Dress. My wedding was, anyway. I was on Say Yes to the Dress. If you're not familiar, right, this is a show that's on TLC. Essentially, they follow a bride around who's getting married, and they follow her journey on finding the correct dress and saying yes to the dress of her dreams that she's going to walk down the aisle to, and all that good stuff. And, it's a reality show, so there's drama and everything. And then towards the end of the show, they usually, show them with their new dress on that they got at the show, at their wedding, having a great time, and, and doing all this stuff and whatnot, right? I got a little trailer if you guys aren't familiar. Like, I'll show you right here.
3, 2,
right.
1. Holy
Oh my God.
On this season of Say Yes to the Dress, here we go again!
I'm gonna go find my wedding dress. I know what you like, and it's $12,000.
Why?
See, beautiful.
Here.
Beautiful. You guys get it. The show actually pisses me off because whenever I watch the show, 9 times out of 10, these brides are picking out a dress that costs like double what I charge. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Okay, like these dresses are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. With my bride in particular, she actually had 2 dresses, which I'm going to explain in a minute, kind of like how all that went. But if you've never been on reality TV, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Some things are staged, some things aren't. But everybody acts different. It's just a weird dynamic because you walk into the venue, and when you get to the front door, right at the front door, there's one for each door. There's a piece of paper on the door. Hey, this place is being filmed for a TV show. If you walk through these doors, you are agreeing to be on camera for this TV show. Yada, yada, yada. So basically, you walking through these doors gives them consent to use your footage for a TV show. most people get excited about this sort of thing, right? You know, oh my God, you know, the wedding we're going to this weekend, it's going to be on Say Yes to the Dress. We're going to be on camera, right? And it's amazing the difference of how people act because there's a TV show there, and how it kind of affected me and my, you know, DJing in general and getting people to dance. First of all, my first dance set, right? So we get them in, right? We had to, there were a couple things we had to do for the show, right? So, you know, before you start actually, right? You know, they come up to you, the producer comes up to you, say, hey, you know, can you sign this consent to release your rights or whatever? So we can, you know, show you your likeness, you know, sign a paper to release your likeness. I forget what it's called, or it's a release, whatever it is. You sign it and then you take a picture with it, you know, and then they have that picture and it's all right, cool, you're going to be on the show. So then we signed that. We had all that set. And one thing prerequisite we had to do during intros, which really wasn't my style, but like they wanted to do it, I guess, for the show, was like do wave napkins in the air. So they place little things like that you have to do to kind of make it look cool for the show, right? So like when I brought in the bride and groom, wave the napkins in the air. And, you know, a lot of DJs do that. I'm not hating on it. It's just not my personal style. You know what I mean? But we did that, make sure it looked cool for the show and everything. Even like Santi was mixing. And I saw the reality TV show guy like go up to Santi and get like a good shot of his melon while he's mixing his shit. Santi got all nervous, started fucking train wrecking his shits. He was scared as hell. I was like, yo, son. Afterwards, he's trying to scratch. He's like, oh, shit. He can't even scratch on beat. I'm like, oh, somebody's camera shy. Like, he ain't camera shy in front of my little dinky camera, but you put a big rig and it's like, whoa. He's like, I never seen the guy so nervous in my life. But anyway, so, we announce them in, everything goes great, right? They're all hamming it up, and it's insane. Like, because the cameras are there, it's everybody's moment. Everybody's trying to be on TV. Everybody thinks that this is their big break. They're going to hit Hollywood or something, because I've never had such a responsive crowd in my entire life. Like, when I say, like, I started intros, I couldn't even get the sentence out, and these people were like, whoa! I'm like, I'm literally, like, you know, all right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, whoa! They're screaming at me, like, off the bat. I'm like, holy shit, holy energy. They're getting out just over the top, like freaking out. Like, I'm like, what the hell? You people are like a little overboard. And then when I did my dance set, right? Because we danced them early in Jersey, right? So it's before dinner. We did intros, we did our formalities, we did all that stuff. And then I went into the first dance set, and I couldn't even get the word dance out of my mouth. And I am telling you, 104% of the entire crowd was on the dance floor. 104%. I say 104% because I'm pretty sure a couple like staff members went and danced too. They're like, fuck this job. This is my moment. I'm gonna get on TV. Like, it's insane. They just just packed the whole fucking dance floor. And it didn't matter. Oh my God. Whatever I played, I must have been the best DJ of all time. Whatever I played, they sang it from the top of their lungs. I never seen anything like it. They're getting down on one knee. Just singing, like, just dumb songs they're singing. They're singing every word to push it, to Calabria, which only has 3 words that repeat over and over again. Like, that's what these people are doing. It's crazy to me. It's literally insane. I almost thought about fucking with them. Like, I'm about to just play something random, see if they still sing to that. Like, it doesn't matter what I do. They're just going to party because they're on camera. Like, it's insane. It felt like, you ever like meet someone that's like kissing your ass, you know, and then they laugh at every joke, you know, you're talking and then like you're not even meaning to joke, and they're like, oh, you're so funny, you know, and they're like just overly just laughing. You just sit there and you feel uncomfortable. It's like, all right, like, why are you trying so hard, right? Like, that's literally what it felt like. It felt disingenuous. I'm DJing. I'm like, oh my God. I remember telling Santi, I was like, look, dude, these people are hamming it up for the camera. We're not going to know what the fuck we got until these camera leave, because like I don't know what works. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Whatever I play, they dance to. But like, what do you really like? How do I really read you guys? You know what I mean? And so there's 2 big reveals we kind of had to set up, right? So obviously for the introduction, you know, she had her actual dress. This bride in particular, and I'm assuming it's on the show and everything, she got a second dress. And this is like the party dress. I'm sure you've seen couples do this in the past, or brides do this in the past, right? They have a dress for the formalities and the ceremony and the main stuff, and then they get a party dress, and they change into the party dress, and then it's another big reveal, right? So the producers are like, all right, listen, right after dinner, Nick, right after dinner, okay, we're gonna bring the bride out. We're gonna film like some reality TV stuff with her. She's gonna get changed. We're gonna let you know when she's ready. And when she's ready, all right, you got to make sure the dance floor is already packed. And back of my head, I'm like, that's a piece of fucking cake. Make sure the dance floor is already packed, and then you want to like kind of part the sea and then reintroduce her into the room, and you got to use the song Crazy in Love when she comes in, right? So it'll be like her Beyonce moment. She's going to come in with her new dress, and it's just going to be, reality TV goodness, right? So I'm like, all right, no problem. So we call everybody out to the dance floor. Everybody goes out, 2 seconds, right? So they're dancing. I'm like 3 songs deep in my set, and then the producer comes over. All right, it's time to bring them out. They're about to bring them out. They're bringing them out. Okay, cool. Shit. All right, so I see her. Like, she's kind of hiding because no one wants to see her new dress, whatever. They're getting it all ready. They have it all set. We had to keep the lights, like, on pretty bright, too, because, like, that way their cameras can get, like, the right shot. We couldn't actually keep it darker because I guess their cameras weren't fucking good enough. Anyway, that was annoying. But it didn't matter. They danced whatever, right? Then I went out there and I was like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, we need to part the C. And was it the most easiest C I ever partied? You ever part the C, right? You go through a crowd and you're like, all right, everybody kind of, you know what I mean? Part the C, part the C. So like people on either side. The easiest thing I've ever done in my life. They parted in 4 seconds. Just parted. And then this was my moment, all right? This is my moment. This is going to go down in reality TV history. Ready, people? I had a line. I had to say. I had a line. So I parted the C. The dance floor is packed. We parted the C. We had a perfect, lane in the middle of the crowd for the bride to come out to. I brought the groom out. I'm like, all right, come on out, center of the dance floor right here, right in the middle of that C part, right? Had the groom in the middle, and I said, listen, Brian's the name of the groom. Brian, in front of all these people, I got to tell you, okay? I got to tell you, our bride, Natalia, had a change of heart. And then we hit Crazy in Love. That was my line, people. She came out doing her Beyonce thing, just coming out in her shit, just bloop, 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 right? Killing it. Came out. Everyone's cheering. It is just, oh my God, just mayhem on the dance floor. Just absolutely mayhem. I should be doing sound effects right now. I should just be doing sound effects. Give me a fucking sound effect. Hold up. Bring it up. There we go. Absolute mayhem. She comes in. They're going wild. Crazy in Love is playing, and then we go right into a dance set, and it's just another one of those dance sets where I could do no wrong. It didn't matter what I played. I could play whatever the hell. I could have played ball with the ball, the bang, the bat. It didn't matter. I could have played the most dumb shit in the world, and I swear to God, they all would have raged because they were filming at the time. It's amazing the difference it makes. And it's all well and good. You might be sitting there thinking, well, that's awesome. You were on TV. And when you're on TV, it's even easier to make them to dance. So it looks cool. I mean, it's great. Like, that's awesome. Like, why? Like, what's the big deal? The big deal is once the show's over, they never stay to the end, right? We all know, it's rare for a videographer to stay to the end. Once it's all over, okay? Once it's all over, they get their shot, which is pretty much after that dress shot. They get that shot, and then they leave, the camera crew leaves, then people start realizing the camera crew isn't there, and then true colors come out, right? Then all of a sudden, oh my God, the dance floor started clearing, right? Then I was left with 20 people or whatever, 15 people that actually liked the music I was playing at that time, right? Wasn't faking it for the camera. So I now essentially, and I told Santi, like, bro, this is going to happen, watch. And then the second it happened, I'm like, dude, oh my God, right? So now, as a DJ, I have to essentially figure out what these people like with an hour left at the wedding, right? We got an hour left. We got an hour left to dance them, and I got to start from square one. I got to start from dinner, essentially, and that was funny too. Dinner, they didn't even listen to dinner. I couldn't get them to react to nothing during dinner until I got on the mic and told them what to do, and then, they just did whatever and then raged. But dinner, they kind of just talked among themselves. It was odd. It was just an odd dynamic. So I had no read on these people. So an hour left of the party, I had to figure out this entire shit. I had to figure the whole shit out. And, and it took it was 3 times, I don't know about you, but I'm always kind of I talk to myself a lot. So I'm literally DJing and I'm like, all right, well, do you like this? All right, go fuck yourselves. How about this? You know what? You can all literally go fuck yourselves. You're never going to be on TV again. I hate you all, right? I'm literally just talking shit on them under my breath. And then I finally end up being 2000s hip hop, 2000s R&B was their button. That was their shit, right? They were like my age, a little older maybe. And that was their hot button. That's what they liked. And then I rolled with that. And it was a great wedding. It ended great, great time. They were super happy. We got all the, the right shots. We did everything good with the show. We did everything good with the couple and with their requests and all that. So life was grand. But yeah, just so you guys know, if you're ever on a reality TV show, just expect that shit, expect it. And just remember, you got to think quick on your feet. Get a lot of info from the couple, like of what they really like too. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you ask like the real prying questions. What do you really like? What do you guys want to? Like, make sure you know all that stuff ahead of time so you know what to do once the camera crew leaves. Because literally, I should have just handed out Oscars while we were there. These people friggin' literally were acting the entire fucking time. Then Sunday, right? I go up way up north in New York, right? So back like literally past where I was for the Say Yes to the Dress shit. And it had to have been one of the shittiest venues I've ever been to in my life. Only because, not that it was a shitty place. It was a nice country club. It was a big tent in the back, right? So it was a tent, no biggie. But their fucking house system, okay? They had a house system. They required that we sign that we use it. They required that we use it. No exceptions. And here's the thing. I don't mind using other people's shit. It's less work for me. I don't have to bring in my own shit. I don't have to do wear and tear on my shit. Generally speaking, it's actually better, right? It's fucking better. Less work, less pack up, all that stuff, right? It looks better because it's built into the venue. I get that. I don't mind it at all. But it's got to be a real fucking system. It can't be a piece of fucking shit, okay? I can't correctly do my job if the system fucking sucks. This system was so bad. It was like these skinny column array JBLs, and they were white, so they kind of blended in with a tent. And they had like 3 of them, 1 in the middle and 2 on either side, which is odd, just an odd way to run speakers. But anyway, so they had 3. They had in the ceiling, right, where you couldn't see. I guess they had built-in subs. And not only was the system blown, it wasn't loud enough. It literally wasn't loud enough. I'm on the mic and I literally sound like I'm literally testing out, and I literally sound like, it sounds like there's a blanket over every speaker, okay? And that is because the crossover rate, right? You want to have a low crossover rate on a speaker so you can talk on the mic, and basically the crossover rate is when your voice, right, it goes from the tweeter of the speaker and it moves it to the sub for extra help. And when it moves to the sub, it sounds muffled. Like the sub of a speaker isn't meant for your voice. You know what I mean? You want to use the tweeter. So, you want to have a lower crossover rate. Anyway, not to geek out. The speakers fucking sucked, okay? I sound like shit, and the music itself was not loud enough. I'm testing out ahead of time. I'm like, this is not loud enough for 200 people. It is not. There's no way. Once there's 200 people in here, 200 voices, 200 fart boxes in here, we're not going to be able to be loud enough to effectively DJ this party, let alone MC it, too. Like, sometimes you can get the music loud enough, but your mic sounds like shit, so you just make it work. Like, no. Like, the music was not loud enough, not to mention, obviously, the microphone. How can I command a room? How can I get like, do anything? How can I be an effective MC? I don't care how good of an MC you are. If the system sucks and you're not loud enough or clear enough, there's no way for you to properly command the room. Now, I cannot properly do my job. So I did everything I can with settings. I'm like, this fucking sucks. So I tried again. Yo, man. Not trying to use this. You're like, let me bring in my speakers, man. Like, this is bad. Like, I'm not going to be able, whatever. No, absolutely not. You cannot, right? I was working with Paul. He was trying, nothing. Then, apparently, this venue was very strict with COVID. And they literally wanted the bridal party to wear masks at the ceremony while they were standing up at the altar. And I guess the couple wasn't aware of this, and they kind of freaked out, and we're like, fuck that. We don't have matching masks. We can't even accommodate them, and it's going to ruin the pictures, which I kind of agree with, right? What the fuck? So they were already freaking out about that side of things, like, because they're really strict with these COVID laws. So I guess the venue kind of was like, holy shit, like, this bride's about to punch me in the throat. So they kind of gave in. And then all of a sudden came up to us like, you know what, you can, you got speakers, like if you want to bring them in, just don't take no pic. And they're like, don't take no pictures. We don't want no other DJs to know that you use speakers at this venue. It's top secret. And I'm going to find the name of it. I'm going to let you guys know because I want to fucking rat them out too. So you guys all know that they'll let you use your speakers because you literally cannot DJ with how shitty this friggin' system is. I'm gonna tell you right now what it is, just in case you're in New York and you guys know. This is West Hills Country Club. West Hills Country Club, let me use their speakers, all right? I'm saying it from the mountaintops. Fuck those people. Do not use their house system. It's terrible. Demand that you use your own speakers. Demand it. Demand it, and they'll and tell a couple to. It's just not a good. You can't do it. There's plenty of house systems we use all the time that are solid. They're not as good as my system. Like I would always prefer my system, I guess, in most cases, but they're solid. You can get the job done, so I'm fine. You know what I mean? Keep it moving. I'm not like complaining. When I say it's literally not loud enough, it's literally not loud enough. But thank God we got away with that. On a side note, they were crazy strict with masks. It was the first venue I've ever been to that had mask police, and there was two guys that their only job was to be a mask police, and they literally just stood in the corner, watched everybody, like obvious as shit, right? And then like when dancing started, anybody got up out of their seat, you know, and they didn't have their mask on, they literally just like beelined right to them and just pointed at their face. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, I don't care what you think about masks or COVID or whatever, you know, whatever your opinions are. I'm not getting into that. I'm just saying that from a DJ perspective, right? I'm trying to dance people. People are drunk, having a good time. Then you got this guy going up, tapping on his face, making people put up their masks. It literally cleared my dance floor several times. Like it fucked up my dancing. It really did fuck me up, like big time. Like towards the end, they finally gave up, and then I hit them hard, but like it affects you. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's a private event. Like, is that really necessary? Like I've done how many weddings? I probably 70 weddings post-COVID, something like that now, 60, and not one venue has like enforced like that. Like that just like they were buzzkill enforcing it. Crazy. So I don't know. Fuck West Hills. Shitty ass system. So venues, if you're a venue owner or you know a venue owner, whatever, if anybody that was involved in a venue watches this video, this is my message to the people, okay, of venues. The people of venues, this is my message to you. If you're going to put in a house system, great. I agree with it. There's a lot of benefits to that, right? You live in a neighborhood. If your venue's in a neighborhood, sound ordinances, all that stuff, I get it, okay? Do a house system. It looks good too. Do a house system. Make sure it's a legit one. Consult with a professional, okay? Make sure it's legit. It's rated for double the people that your capacity. So if your capacity for a venue is 200, make sure it's rated for 400. You want to know why? Because most DJs don't know how to set sound, okay? Most of us don't. Most of us don't understand how mixers work or anything, and they will blow your shit. So if you don't have an extra powerful system, it will easily be blown. Every other weekend, one DJ is going to mess up, not run his shit right. Either he's going to have a shitty mixer with a shitty signal or something that's going to blow your shit. If you get a house system that's double what you actually need, then you're going to have all the headroom in the world. You don't have to worry about any DJ blowing it. And then on top of it, maybe get a sound guy, you know? Or if you don't want to have a double the system, then have a sound guy that monitors the sound all night. And then, you know, that's another way to prevent DJs from blowing it, you know? Get a system, that suffice, and then at least have a sound guy that manages it, or it's so good that, like, we just can't blow it. It's just too hard to blow. It's too loud, right? Or else we blow everybody's eardrums out. Like, you got to do one of the two things, because if you have a house system and then it's literally farting when I go in there, every bass note, like sounding like shit, what am I going to do with that? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, no, but you have to use it no matter what. Now you're affecting the wedding, right? Now you're affecting the core of the wedding. So do better, venues, all right? Do better. There's one venue on earth that has a sick house system that I'll work at any day that I love, and it's called the Windrift in Avalon. If you guys ever been there, their house system's legit. They got a hippie from like Woodstock or something to come like be the sound guy. It's a line array system, like 4 18-inch subs. Obnoxious, just obnoxious. I went there the first time. I was like, yeah, I'll leave my speakers in the car. This is legit. You know, it's rare, but it's rare. Most venue systems suck, but they're doable. That one this past weekend was not. That shit fucking pissed me off. Pissed me off, people. Big announcement though. So I am having Mike Walter on the show next week. I'm very, very excited. You know, so shout out to Mike Walter. He, I mean, I would assume you know who Mike Walter is. I mean, if you don't, you know, he's an OG in the business. He, you know, he's started and has been running for years and years. One of the greatest, you know, wedding DJ companies of all time, Elite Entertainment. He's been an educator for years and years, and tons of seminars. And he's been around the block, man. I think he's like 55, and he's been DJing since like he was a teenager. So, you know, he's seen some shit. So I'm excited to like interview him and whatnot. I have a lot of questions to ask just about like, you know, back in the day and, you know, all kinds of shit. It's going to be interesting. This is the cool thing about this show. Like I get to, like I could never hit up Mike Walter and be like, hey man, you got like an hour to talk on the phone. Let's just chit chat. He'd be like, no, you weirdo. I'm not going to chit chat with you. I'm busy. But I can hit up Mike Walter and be like, yo, want to come on my show? We'll do an interview. And then now I can have that chit chat and like ask him all the questions I always wanted to ask. Like I'm interested in the history of wedding DJing, all that stuff. There's not a lot of written shit for that. So definitely cool. Very excited about that. So yeah, Mike Walter runs Elite Entertainment. He also has a podcast with Joe Bunn called the PhDJ Podcast, which is really cool. I think they're like 200 episodes deep or some shit. So they've been at it a while. So if you haven't checked it out, it's called PHDJ Podcast. Look it up wherever there's podcasts. It's up there. All kinds of good, useful wedding topics. I mean, I don't know. I listen to it all the time. There's a lot of great stuff on there for sure. One thing about his show, though, the PHDJ Podcast, they have commercials in there, right? Like they're sponsored by DJ Event Planner. That's like the main one they do commercials about. And their fucking commercials, man, they can't be real life. Like Mike's commercials can't be real. Like, he'll be on the show next week, so maybe he can tell me about this and let me know for sure. But like, Mike has a good sense of humor. He's a funny guy. Like, he's witty, right? So I can't. These commercials like are so bad, they're good. Like, it's like a genius marketing. Like, I have to assume that these commercials that he does is just like a troll. He just like it's like a twisted way to market things. Like he does like a stereotypical kind of commercial, and it just all right. If you haven't seen the show, he basically puts a beat on the background, and then it's like the most infomercially kind of radio commercial you ever heard in your life. They're hilarious. Like, they are absolutely hilarious. Hilarious. I'll show you. Look, hold on. I'll give you like an example here. Ready? This is basically a Mike Walter commercial on the PHDJ podcast, right? It starts out like, "What's up? Sorry to interrupt this amazing podcast, but I want to tell you a quick story. I love making whoopee in the bedroom. And because I have astrodichia, I never have a bad dick day. Astrodichia is a 1 to 9 a day pill that pumps extra fun juice in your no-no area." At this point in the commercial, I'm going to essentially say every possible thing I could think of about astrodichia, and then I'm going to repeat myself, only in a different order, so it sounds like I'm saying something new, but I'm really just saying the same stuff. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You ever see his commercials? Or hear him on these podcasts? They're fucking like side effects include dizziness, playing R. Kelly, canceling yourself, wife or girlfriend pregnancy, and a boner. They're so bad they're good. Like I at the end of the commercial, he'd be like, "Go ahead, go to astrodichia.com. Me and Joe will be here when you get back." And order in the next 20 minutes and use promo code PHD for 20% off. Oh. If you listen to his podcast, you know what I'm talking about. These fucking things they're just atrocious. I think I die laughing every time. And he has all these different concepts. He has one where he's like, I live in Jersey, and I love going to the beach. And going to the beach is great when you have DJ Event Planner, because I can send contracts from the beach while getting my tan on, like, or some shit like that. And he's got another one. "Oh, there's an alarming stat. Can you believe most DJs have not heard of DJ Event Planner? Like, it's the best. You just check out the podcast. If it's for the commercials alone, check out the podcast. It's fucking hilarious. Got me fucking dying all the time. I don't know. Maybe they'll be pissed. Whatever. Mike Walter will be on the show next week, so he can redeem himself. He could tell me his thoughts behind these fucking these commercials he does. I'll probably rip this video and spread it around and bust more balls anyway. But I got to thank Mike, because he motivated me to make my own little commercial. It's not a commercial, but there's a couple venues that are strict, right, with COVID, that want me to make all these fucking announcements, and like I'll literally print out a sheet, right? This is like one of the sheets, and it's like, this is where you have to sign your life away and say that you're gonna follow all the rules, and then it also says, like, we kindly request you make the following announcements at the beginning of the event when it is quiet for all guests to hear and as needed throughout the night, right? And it's like just COVID announcements. And like, I hate making them because I feel like a party pooper. So I decided, I can't believe I didn't think of this sooner. Me and Paul were talking, and I decided to make a pre-recording of it, right? So I can just play it. So it almost sounds like an airport commercial, That way I'm not fucking saying it. I'm not the party pooper, right? I'm just playing a pre-recorded thing. Maybe you could recognize it's my voice, but at the very least, you're just going to think, oh, well, it's something that the venue has everybody play, and you just keep it moving. So the venue's happy. It's nice and clear and concise. And I'm not personally saying it and being a party pooper. Like, I recorded this shit right here. Check it out. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start our introductions, our incredible venue here has a few rules that we have to state based on New Jersey guidelines. Everyone must wear their masks and practice social distancing whenever you are not seated to eat and drink. There is no eating or drinking when you are standing up. Please regularly utilize the numerous hand sanitizer stations that are set up throughout the venue. On behalf of the incredible staff here at the venue, we want to have a fun and safe environment for everyone. Thank you. And that's my COVID commercial. Or COVID intro. So I'm literally I made it without the beat too, but I just thought it was funny with the beat, like a Mike Walter, PhDJ podcast commercial or whatever. But so I made it with just the voiceover as well, so I can do my own beat. But dude, I'm literally gonna play. I'm at one of those venues this weekend. I'm literally just gonna play that shit out loud. Oh, you want me to say it again? No problem. Pre-recorded message. I know I'm saying it right. And hey, I'm not, it's a win-win. I feel like the venue might even ask me, yo, can you give us that file so we can give it to other DJs? You know what I mean? Like, and then maybe it'll help me out that way and get me off the shit list. Because these are the same venues I got in trouble with if you didn't see that video because of all the COVID announcements. So shout out to Mike Walter for the idea. That's really where I came from. I was like, oh my God, I should bust Mike Walter's balls finally about these commercials since he's coming on the show and all that. And then I thought of this idea and like recorded it quick. So bam, there's a quick solution for you DJs. Do yourself, make your own little voiceover for your COVID stuff. So you don't have to say it yourself. It just takes you out of the equation. My whole big thing with COVID is like, I don't want to look like I'm the party pooper. I am not a party pooper. I'm a DJ. I want to start the party. I want to get people to rage. I want people to hang from the chandeliers. I want craziness. I want someone to die on my dance floor. Like I want craziness, right? Not die, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I want craziness. I don't want to be associated with any party pooperness, and that's party pooperness. So if I'm not saying it, it eliminates me from the situation, which is cool. Now, every week we talk about music and shit. So this week I actually did a poll, right? Because I want to see what you guys are playing. I did a poll and I said, what is your go-to dance song, right? DJs, what is your go-to dance song? I just want to see what people, say. Like, what is their dance floor banger? Selfishly for me, I mean, I was hoping, and I did. I got a couple ideas of like, maybe I should start playing that again, or shit I never played before, So like some good songs to add to my crates personally. I just want to see what people are playing, see if there's like a lot of overlap. And surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of overlap. So I'm gonna go over the results with you guys real quick. Check this out. So Danza Kotoro was the number one, 4 votes for that. So that did hit number one. You can see like tallies on the side. I mean, it's a very sloppy way to do it. I don't have a sophisticated poll system yet. All right, people, like bear with me. I highlighted the ones where I'm like, yeah, I should play that more often, right? So Faded by Tyga. We Like to Party. That's the Six Flags commercial. That shit. Suena el Sabor. Never heard of it. I probably said that wrong. But it was a banger when I listened to it. I fucking love Spanish music, though, so I don't know. Grantee was like a techno song. I don't know. That was like super like a song I'd play with my with me and Santi's like tracksuits. Gold Digger, Low, One More Time got a few votes, 3 votes for One More Time. I Want to Dance with Somebody, It's Tricky. No Hands, banger, and that's in like the trap category, one of the few, or the only one probably. I'm Still Standing, Call Me Maybe, Wanna Be, Love on Top, Show Me Love, Run It, Party Jumpin'. I put the dude's face there for Party Jumpin' because that's by R. Kelly, and I never heard of it. I listened to it, and it's awful. They got to be trolling me. It's like the most awful song I ever heard. Yeah by Usher, Conga, I'm Your Boogeyman. That's Casey and Sunshine Band. DJ Got Us Falling in Love, Gotta Be Real. Fireball, Despacito, September, Electricity, Hey Back That Ass Up, 2 votes for that. I actually should have highlighted that because I should play that more often still, because that's still a banger. Deep End, Valid Like a Salad. That was a bop. Never heard of that song. That Valid Like a Salad. Write that down, people, okay? That was a fucking bop. Will it work at a wedding? I don't know. Probably not, but it's hilarious. I'm definitely going to play it tonight on my Twitch stream. Yeah, pretty funny. Cheap Thrills, Lose Control, Show Me Love, 2 votes for that. Emotion, This Is How We Do It, Lip Gloss, and then Cumbia. Not doing that one, but it was a banger though. It was like cumbia, so it was like more of like kind of like Mexican music. It was like that faster merengue, like shit like that. But shit was hard as hell. I don't know. I liked it, so I highlighted it. Anyway, so those were the list. And I think it's interesting, number one. A lot of it's basic. A lot of it I already play before sometimes, or I play often or whatever. These are like, I Want to Dance with Somebody, Danza Kotoro. These are all dance floor staples, right? Everyone plays them. Couple unique stuff, but there was only, One, if you want to include Faded, it's not really, but like how many like new hip hop songs? How many trap songs? 2, right? 1.5. Not a lot of us play it, you know? And this is something that, you know, Santi's kind of in my ear about a lot. And we actually have him here live in the studio, a.k.a. my second bedroom. We got Santi here, so we're bringing him on real quick. Let me unmute you. What's up, Santi?
What it do, what it do?
So we got Santi in the house. You know, if you don't know Santi, he's my partner in crime. He works with me every single wedding. He's with me every step of the way. Me and him are on tour. He's one of my best friends in the world, and yeah, you know, being that Santi has seen me DJ hundreds of weddings, and every wedding I've DJ'd in the last I don't even know how long. I trust Santi's opinion as an outsider, you know, kind of looking in on what I do, what I play, and, you know, how I can evolve and whatnot. And one thing that Santi's often in my ear about, I got the fucking Nick from TLC say us the address. I'm famous. I'm just busting balls. Obviously, I don't give a fuck. That was
I signed the waiver too. I should have had it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So yeah, after they did that thing on they showed his noggin while he was dancing, and Santi got all nervous. They came up and I was like, they did 2 separate waivers, one for him and one for his beard. But now he's on he's gonna be on Say Us Address. It's official. So me and Santi are both gonna be famous. But yeah, one thing that Santi said a lot, you know, you tell me a lot. You're like, I should play more trap. I should play like more new hip hop. And you're right. You even said it after this past wedding. You're like, yo, you know, you could have played more trap. And I'm like, fuck you. But yeah, you're right. You know, it's just something that I'm trying to just get more comfortable with. You know, I have a folder full of the basics, but a lot of times I'll play one and then I get the fuck out. I'm just scared. You know what I mean? Unless it's like an obvious, like unless I know they're a super young couple and I know I can get away with it, then I'll do like a set and shit. But like, generally speaking, I mean, you know, you watch me mix, I'll play Cardi B and I'm out. Or I'll play, you know, maybe a Drake and then I'm out, like, or something like that. And I want to get into it a little more. I did that poll and nobody fucking picked a trap song.
The Waka
except
Flocka?
for one, the Waka Flocka, which is an interesting one because, so I was talking to Dave about this. I want to see your opinion, Santi. So I was talking to Dave about this, and Digital Dave. And he said that, he's like, yeah, I play a lot of trap at weddings, but like I do it in a test. So like my first test set, he says he actually uses No Hands by Waka Flocka. That's his like test song, right? If that works, he'll go like he'll do a mild trap set. If that worked, then, you know, goes about his day, keeps mixing. But then when he goes back to trap, he'll do a little harder trap set, right? Go back to it, do a little harder, see if that worked, right? If that worked, okay, cool. And then you go, because you got to be open format weddings, right? You got to go in and out of shit, right? You can't just be all trap, right? So, you know, tries this shit, worked, cool. Tries this shit a little heavier, that worked too, cool. Then he goes back and he goes even harder the third time. That's when he'll go into like, you know, I guess Sicko mode, the baby, more like, I don't know, I guess it's more like really, you know, whatever. And then he just keeps poking at it until it doesn't work as well anymore, you know? And I think it's interesting, you know? It's definitely an interesting take. It's something I want to kind of like work on, like different sets and how to bring it in. And I just want to ask you, you know, I mean, you, so before, when I said you were going to be on the show or whatever, I was like, yo, man, can you put together like some lists? Like, what are some bangers? Like, what do you, what's your thoughts on all this? You're a young 25-year-old man. What's your thoughts, Santi? Tell the people.
Well, like when I talk to you about this, I always say that like trap is needed to be in these sets at weddings because like at this point, trap is basically mainstream. Like it's mainstream. It's not an underground thing anymore. And like for me to say that, like if you don't mind, I just want to kind of give like a little backstory to how trap became mainstream.
Okay.
Let's go with that. So like in the early 2000s, you know what I'm saying? That's where we're at, where trap really isn't a genre. It's a place where you sell drugs. And it wasn't until that's
like trap house,
like a trap house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I heard it in a rap song.
It didn't. So then we fast forward to the mid 2000s, and you got artists like Gucci Mane, Young Jeezy, T.I., Yo Gotti, Wayne, Ross, Waka, Chief, and they're basically telling stories about selling drugs in the trap.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell the story about how trap continued, we have to also go back to the producers, where we got Lil Jon from Atlanta, we got Manny Fresh from New Orleans, and we got DJ Paul from Memphis. And if you think about those cities, those are the cities where trap, like those are the hubs for trap in America, still to this day.
What, so New York, Memphis, and Atlanta?
Did I say New York? I said Lil Jon from Atlanta, Manny Fresh from New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans.
And DJ Paul from Memphis.
Yeah, you said New Orleans. Okay.
So now we fast forward a little bit. Now we're in the EDM era. And if you remember the EDM era, there was a subgenre of EDM that was called trap, where trap producers were like, how about we take this drum pattern from trap And instead of us using like orchestral sounds, using these horns, let's use synths and let's put a drop in there.
Yeah, like Carnage did that, and that's where
Right.
Festival Trap, and then all the
GTA.
trap beats. OK did that. Yeah, I remember when that came out too. That was probably 2011 because I was bumping that shit. I was like, oh, it was like my new favorite shit, like all these trap drops.
Right. And then so like now I think that's important to point out because now we have a subculture where it's like if you didn't like hip hop but you listen to EDM, you're familiar with that drum pattern.
Yeah.
So like maybe you danced to it or you seen somebody dance to it, but you knew the effect that like drum pattern had on people. So it was like more acceptable. And then 2013 happened. Do you know whose debut single came out in 2013?
I don't know. It's got to be Drake, right?
Migos.
Which
They
one?
dropped Versace, which was then remixed by Drake.
Oh, I remember that, and that was the shit.
And that went crazy.
Yeah. You think that was like the pillar? That was the shit when that
In
came
my
out.
opinion, that's when like trap became mainstream, and it's not no longer. That's when trap no longer was trap. It was literally hip hop, because then that changed the sound for everybody. Migos changed the sound for everybody. And then you start seeing all these other artists basically take that flow.
Yeah.
And then that's like how trap continued. At least that's how I look at it.
That's interesting. It's interesting. So like, but like, is it safe? Like, so you're saying the average person, the young person, like, or so an average bride is 21 to 35, right? That's our age range. Am I safe in that whole range, or are you thinking like just 20s? Like, does it depend on the crowd, or should I really be playing trap at every single wedding? Should we all be playing trap at every single wedding?
I mean, I think when it comes to like what you should play, I feel like there's three things that go into if a song's gonna be successful, like on the dance floor. The one is like, did you read the room correctly? Like, is the demographic of people in front of you, do they know that music? Like, you can't play Migos for a crowd of people that loves like country music.
Yeah, but like, okay, but there's, I mean, that like. Crowd, like wedding crowds always have like a large variety of people. Like, you know what I mean? There's always gonna be people like country or like shit that's not even close to trap at a wedding. That's why it makes me nervous. Like, man, are they gonna really like it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are they gonna like this? Like, so it's like, should we just start with a beginner song? Like, should a No Hands or I don't know, another beginner song? I guess Cardi B or something. Should that be like the tester? And if that shit works, then just go off. You know what I mean?
I never thought about it like the way you were saying that Digital Dave described it, where he was talking about like he does the tester track. And like maybe it's like an older trap record, and he goes to see how new he can get before they're like, nah, I don't really like that.
Because No Hands was like 2010, and that was a banger when it came out. Everybody knows that song. That's like a classic, you know. So that's like, to me, it's kind of safe, you know.
Even like Fetty Wap, like you play Fetty Wap, Trap Queen,
Sure.
and that always goes off. That's 2015.
That's super basic, right? Yeah, that's
Super
like a
basic.
basic trap, and then you kind of like move in. Well, what kind of songs you got on your list? Like, give me some bangers.
So what I did was I ended up looking back 5 years from this date. And I kind of looked at some of the hottest trap songs from each year and compared it to some of the hottest pop songs from that year. So you can see the differences in Billboard position and streaming numbers.
Okay.
So for 2020, The Box, Roddy
Yeah.
Ricch, So The Box finished at number 3, ahead of Dua Lipa, Don't Start Now, which ended at number 4.
Which is a bop.
It's pretty close, right? But when we look at the numbers, like the sales, including streaming, The Box is 7 times platinum, while Dua Lipa's Don't Start Now is 4 times platinum, which means there's way more streams, way more sales for The Box.
But in what context though? Like, I'd be nervous about The Box. You want to know why? I think it's a bop. But when that shit came out, we went to lockdown, and most people when they think of that song, I feel like they think of like sitting in their house and just bopping it at their house. And they're not thinking of like, we had such a great time at a club to that song. That was the song of the summer when we were going out. There was no going out. So like, I think how people associate with music is a big thing too. So that is like, I think The Box is a bop, but because we shut down, I'm petrified to play that song. That'd be like last on my list, honest to God. I think just because of the context of how it was listened to when it was a hit. You know what I mean?
It could be a counter argument, whereas like people heard this in their house so long that now they're excited to hear it in the club system. But like, I do see what you're saying. But that's just one example. So like, then we go to 2019.
Okay.
That's the year of Sicko Mode. Sicko Mode ended the year on Billboard, like I'm looking at the year-end charts, at number 9, while Happier by Marshmello, which is higher, ended at number 6. So you would say that's actually against my argument, whereas hip-hop would be more mainstream than pop. But then when you look at the sales, like I said, including streaming numbers, Sicko Mode is diamond, a.k.a. 10 times platinum, while Happier is 6 times platinum, even though it's higher on the charts, which means more people are listening to it and more people are like, it's being spread around. Like, you don't get those numbers just because a subculture of people are listening to that. It's because it's
Everyone.
a mass. The Masked Singer. At least that's how I look at it. And it may not work, and it's all about, like when you said, how do I know to play this song? And it's those three things. Like you got to think about reading the room. You got to think about the position of that song, and you got to think about like what you're going to do to get out of that song. Because like if you just throw something in and it doesn't work, maybe you just play like you can't play Sicko Mode at the start of a night because maybe that's like a peak record for that group.
Sure.
So like I think that factors in if it works or not.
Yeah, and you want to do it when people are like more drunk and ready to let loose and are ready for that kind of club set thing. I agree with Sicko Mode. I think that's like that should be on all of our playlists for sure. I should play it more. It was such a big hit. It got worn out. It's one of those. It was like that and God's Plan was just like over and over and over and over. So it's like I just practically deleted it off my hard drive. But like those are two that will come back. Which I'm assuming. What is 2018? Is it God's Plan?
2018, I actually used Cardi B. I Like It, which ends the year at number 7 against Zed, The Middle.
Is that trap? I guess it is trap, huh?
I mean, it's that drum pattern. I mean, I was basing it off the drum pattern, like and it leaking into the mainstream market is what I was really looking for. Yeah. So basically, anything like that's like 60 to 80 with that drum pattern that was at least top 10 in the Billboard. Yada yada. So Cardi B, I Like It. 2018 ended the year at number 7. Zed's The Middle ended the year at number 8. However, in terms of sales and streaming, Cardi B is 9 times platinum, while Zed The Middle is only 3 times platinum. And the counter argument for that would be that I Like It had Bad Bunny and J Balvin, so they had like the whole Spanish community.
Huge community.
You know what I'm saying?
You ever look up a Bad Bunny video on YouTube? Everyone has over 1 billion views. It's insane. I never seen so many commas on a fucking YouTube video. It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
So what's 2017 then? Bodak?
2017, Bad and Bougie.
Oh yeah, Bad and Bougie.
2017. You know, would you say that?
I mean, I don't know. See, that's another one of those like, you know, how do you even drop that? You know, I just don't think it's like a danceable song. You know, like it worked. I used to drop it hard at like Sweet 16s and proms at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like just scratch it in from that beginning thing, and then they'd be like freak out. You know, Molly Percocet, like Percocet's in the fuck right? Isn't that? Yeah, that's. I don't know. That's another song that you're gonna have to play like dirty too, you know, or else it's gonna sound fucking weird. The clean one is just like a lot of no lyrics too.
That's true.
But it's definitely mainstream as shit. Well, how many streams that get? Was that Diamond?
Did I not write it? Oh no. Okay, yeah, so I used it against Charlie Puth's Attention.
Okay.
Which ended that year at number 22.
Which is about.
And both of them were 4 times platinum. So what that means is that Bad and Bougie was way more commercially successful. So like the way the Billboard charts get calculated is it takes into not just streaming, but also like radio play.
Sure.
And like commercial success.
So that means it's so higher.
So that means in that year, the Migos were technically bigger pop stars than Charlie Puth.
Wow.
At least by the numbers. 2016, I did Broccoli, Dram.
I forgot about
which
that.
was number 34. I wanted to go deeper to see if the pattern continued at like some of the deeper tracks.
Yeah.
Against Cold Water, Major Lazer, Justin Bieber, which was 25. So like by this point, I hope you like the Billboard kind of, like I said, it uses an algorithm where it takes in tune like the radio time and stuff like that. But what I care about is like what the artist cares about, which is like how much did it sell and how many people are listening. So even though Major Lazer, Cold Water was at 25, Broccoli was at 34, Broccoli by Dram is 7 times platinum, while Cold Water with the Biebs is only 4 times platinum.
Huh. Song about weed.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's a bop too. I think that song's good. So these are just songs that just like they're so fucking mainstream. Everybody knows what they are. I mean, I will admit this. Like everyone's gonna know what these songs are. 100%. You're gonna play these. They're gonna know whether they like it or not, whatever. But they're gonna know these songs. These are top 40. You know, I just think like trap came out and then like all of us DJs just like our buttholes puckered up and we're like, oh no, like, you know, we can't play like, because it used to be back in the day when a new song came out, we bumped it at weddings. I mean, I remember when Low by Flo Rida came out. That was a banger. That was the fucking hit of 2006 or 7 or whatever. That was the hit. We played it right away. And that was the hottest song in every club, everything. You know what I mean? It used to be where music came out and we could just translate it at weddings. And then once like trap started becoming the mainstream, we all just stopped playing it. And maybe it's for no reason. Maybe it will work, you know? Do you have 2015?
I do have 2015. I think this was the most important for wedding DJs.
Okay.
And it's because in 2015, that's when Trap Queen came out. And that ended the year at number 4.
Wow.
But it's also the same year that Uptown Funk came out, which is a wedding staple. And that ended the year at number 1.
Yeah.
And I understand like Trap Queen is a little played out or whatever, but Trap Queen is Diamond, a.k.a. 10 times platinum. while Uptown Funk is 11 times platinum. So why is it that like Uptown Funk is a wedding staple, but some people look at Trap Queen like an obscure record that's only for proms? And even if you think like that, it doesn't even make sense because a person graduating high school this year,
That's
Trap
old.
Queen would have came out while they were like in middle school.
Yeah. So it's old to them and now.
Old to them.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel like,
I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, some people could make the argument about content. I'm like, oh, well, Uptown Funk's about funk or whatever. I don't know. I don't even listen to words. Or like Trap Queen's about drugs, but like, nobody, who the fuck, some people listen to words, but I sure as hell don't. I mean, if you want to make the argument about content, then, you know, how many breakup songs do we play at weddings? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how many fucking, you know, songs that aren't really like, I don't know. I don't look at that. Some DJs actually do. You know, some DJs actually are like, how could you play? I Will Always Love You. That's a terrible breakup song. And
like,
who gives a fuck?
Or like
It's a
when,
sing-along.
when they're like, when you play Gold Digger and like somebody's like, why are you playing that at a wedding?
Yeah, exactly. Gold Digger. Yeah, I play Gold Digger all the damn time. You know, I literally, when I drop Gold Digger, I don't know, you know, I freaking, I have a cue that goes to the second verse so they can yell the "We Want Prenup" part.
We want prenup.
Whatever, you know. Maybe it's a good idea to get prenup, man. Maybe I should, you know, I'm just trying to help everybody out. Actually, I'm not helping nobody out because they're already married. But regardless, I mean, I got to start doing it more. I just got to start doing it more. I think we all need to just start playing this music more. I think it's gonna really it's a way to it's definitely a way to set yourself apart because I can guarantee you this one thing: nobody's doing it. Nobody's playing trap at weddings. Nobody. Everybody's keeping it safe right now. If you start playing trap at weddings, you are definitely going to set yourself apart. Whether good or bad depends on how you mix it. You got 14 or?
I don't have 14.
Okay.
I don't have 14.
So you did 15?
That's where I ended. But
so it's basically Trap Queen, Bad and Bougie.
Yep.
What
I got? I Like It, Cardi B.
I Like It, Cardi B.
Sicko Mode.
And
The Box.
And The Box.
And the reason, like, I wanted to do it like that because I could have gave you like 5 records from like last year that I think would work at a wedding, but like I wanted to like highlight how there's like DJs that haven't been doing this for this long and they're completely alienating like a portion of people that attend their weddings. And that portion of people is like that 20 to 25 that'll be the next generation that's getting married.
And it's not only that too. It's like, because all right, we get away with it because I feel like that portion of people doesn't expect to hear that stuff, right? Nobody expects to hear trap. Nobody's coming to a wedding like, oh wow, I can't wait till later when he starts getting into that trap shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go off as soon as he plays Drake. No one's even expecting us to play it so we can get away with it. But that is an incredible opportunity, I think, for us. Because think about that. If nobody's expecting it and we start dropping, all of a sudden you're fucking 4 or 5 beers deep, you know, you're chilling at this wedding, whatever, you're bopping to Uptown Funk, you know, you're just blending in, just having a good time, and then your shit starts coming on, right? Like your pop music, your like trap starts coming on, the shit that you truly like, that gets you hype, then all of a sudden you're just, the Holy Ghost is going to hit you. You're just going to rise out of your chair. You know, and like, yeah. So I think it's a big opportunity for us. You know, I think it's going to be like, you're going to break some necks. You know, I think I got to do it the right way. I can't feel comfortable just playing that shit off the whim. I got to have plans. I got to have like ways I want to get out, ways I want to get in, what I'm going to play, how I'm going to do it. Like, not that I, you know, like plan every set out or play everything, you know, play the same shit like every wedding. Like, I definitely don't do that. But like, I just want to have a game plan. I don't want to get caught with Serato face. I want to figure this shit out.
I think if you're going to take a risk, you have to have an escape plan.
Always.
Or if that doesn't work, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to play something like Bad and Bougie and you're like, I don't even know where I'm going to go from here. Like if you're not even comfortable in that tempo range, then you're going to be stuck and end up probably playing something that's going to clear the dance floor.
How do you MC over that? You know, if you pop perks, make some noise. Like,
I mean, if your wife is bad and bougie.
If your wife is bad and bougie, Jesus, bring her out to the dance floor. I don't know, craziness. But how you doing, man? How you
doing? Good, man.
So how do you like working with me? What's the worst part about working for me? Like working with me at weddings and shit.
The worst part?
What's the worst part? Give the people the dirt.
I would say the worst part, at least for an assistant, is like at some point you start to like know some of the ideas that he's gonna go to. So like he'll play a song and I'll be like, I know exactly where he's going, which is great when I do the lighting. When I'm controlling the lighting, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I know exactly. I'm gonna save this transition for this one. Yada yada. Not that he plays the same things every time, but sometimes he'll go into a lane and I know where that lane may lead. Mm-hmm. And that's probably so. Like after a while, it's like I kind of know a little bit.
You see me so many times. You probably see me DJ like 280 times. Like I'm not even kidding. It's been.
I wish we knew
a
our wedding
lot.
count.
We should have a wedding count.
have
We
a
really
wedding
should. That way we can have like a party at like 500 or something. Like at the big milestones, we need to have parties.
500. That's crazy.
But yeah, and it's always in the back of my head too, like when I'm mixing with you, bro, because like obviously at weddings, because like I'm like I know like when I'm all right, I'm about to do this set, I'm like, and the back of my head it always pops in my head like Santi knows I'm about to do this. What the fuck? This is my one little set I do if I whatever. Yeah. And so I've been trying to keep you guessing a little bit lately, like taking little risks. I've been working with Paul a lot, like assisting him, so like like just days off, and I've been taking risks at his wedding, see if this works, and then trying to incorporate it. Trap's gonna be a big part of it, That's fun. What I've been preaching from the mountaintops, like everybody should be bringing someone with them to a wedding. Like it's just insane. Like so many DJs still work alone. You know what I mean? So many wedding DJs just rock it alone. Even bigger wedding, like Joe Bunn doesn't bring an assistant. I think he might. I think I heard he might have started recently, but for his whole career, he's never brought an assistant. He just rocks solo. Like so it's not even just right. Like so many people don't bring it. It just boggles my mind. There's just so many benefits to it. You know what I mean? Like the list is just like insane. And especially when you like use the same person. Like Santi knows what I'm gonna do before I do it. So like it works when it comes to lighting, when it comes to the timing of our introductions, what I say, what I do, all that. It's just on point. And I'm lucky enough. Santi's a disgusting DJ. We gotta have you on here, like do a set and shit.
Appreciate that. No, I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, you're good unless there's like a TLC camera on your ass.
Yo.
Then oh my god.
Then it's just like a blender. It just sounds like a blender.
Oh my god.
That's what
Santi, that's shoes in the dryer, dog.
Oh, I was so mad, but I had to smile because the camera was still there. I'm like, no, that's how it's supposed to sound.
That's it. See, you and the beard on TLC, nervous as hell.
I hope they use different audio. Like if they use that audio.
No, yeah, there's no way they're getting out. Like because we had that request for Wobble. I was so scared that they were gonna get that shit on camera because I knew they weren't gonna use the audio. They're not gonna pay for like the release for the song. No shot they're doing that. But they will use B-roll footage. So like my biggest fear, I was telling you the whole time, I was like, dude, man, they're gonna like switch to the dance floor and it's just gonna be everyone doing this. Like fuck that. Yeah. So I waited till they left. It's funny as shit.
That was funny.
But yeah, he so Santi also opens up for me essentially like at weddings. Like so like when the doors open up for the ballroom, Santi mixes like that. That's when he'll mix and he'll play the whole like we have like different songs, whatever he plays. He kind of is like in charge of like the doors open list. I'm lining up the bridal party, doing my thing, and he's like warming up the crowd, like getting them popping, getting people sexy walking to the streets. Basic to their seats, and fucking getting the intel for me too. You always give me kind of like, hey, this works, this doesn't work. I'm thinking this.
I think that's the biggest benefit to having an assistant, is just having another set of eyes, even as you walk through cocktail, or as like somebody does the open doors, where you get to read a room, but you have another opinion, you have another perspective.
It's important. It's just important. And just, and you've seen me DJ. I said already, but you've seen me DJ so many times. You can point out shit that I can do better. That's what I want to know. It's so easy to just, like you do. I've done 1,000-something weddings. You know what I mean? I DJ'd a wedding. Everybody was happy. You keep it moving. It's so easy to just do that. But like to really, truly evolve and really get better, you need an outside perspective saying, hey, listen, I've seen you do this 1,000 times. And, I think you should try this or try that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's what I really value. Like that outside fucking perspective. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but I need to hear it, Yeah. It's like, bro, this is, this is what you could do. And not to mention you're younger, more dialed in. Once you get older, once you turn like 30, I'm going to have to trade you in for a younger model, Santi.
Well, I've been noticing now that you'll show me a song. I'm like, where did you hear that?
It's like, no.
I'm not on the TikToks like that, so I know I'm starting to get phased out.
Yeah, when I first started working with Santi, what were you, like 18?
19?
17? Yeah, you're young as shit. So like back then, man, every song, I was like, yo, what's this new banger? What's this? And you knew everything, every dance, you were locked in. And then now, yeah, it's starting to get old, man.
Well, you know what happened was I started working with you, and then I realized like there's this whole like era and like so many genres of music that I wasn't aware of. Like when I started listening to like you do your dinner playlist, and I start hearing stuff like the Steve Miller Band, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That I'm like, wow, this is something that I was never even open to that I ended up digging.
Yeah, man. A lot of music out there. That's for fucking sure. It's fucking cool, man. It's fucking crazy. So I guess we're approaching we got to be approaching 300. I think we're over 200 events at this point.
Is there a way to find that number?
I don't even know. I got to go back and literally fucking.
You have to count it like.
Yeah, like literally count it like one by one,
That'd be
like
tragic.
literally one by one. But for the people, let's list some benefits of the assistant. Okay, number one. And I'm not going to talk about you. You do the opening set. I'm lucky enough where you can throw down, so you can. Not everybody's going to hire an assistant that knows how to DJ right away. So that's not a thing really, I guess. But introductions, right? So you play all the music for me, right, and all that. So like I can be out there and I can MC. So we have all that timing down, right? So it just looks more professional, looks more like a production. Loading up, setting up, obviously reading the crowd, an extra pair of eyes, pictures. Santi, you never kind of learned how to take pictures, right? Like as you were working with me.
Yeah, I bought a camera because when we decided to work full time, I was like, man, I need to bring more value. So I bought a camera just so I could take. Yeah, literally. And I just learned on the fly to be able to like do something more for you because I'm like, damn, if I'm gonna do this full time, I need to provide more value.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
No, appreciate
yeah, and you got a legit camera. It's a 6D, so it's full frame and all that. He's got a flash, and yeah, I don't know. We kind of just figured out pictures as we go along. Like, hey, well, let's try this angle. Let's try this angle. It's definitely not no fucking science, that's for sure.
We're starting to peak now that we got the clicker working for the tracksuits.
Oh, it's over. It's over. We need to get different color tracksuits, by the way.
What we should put that as a poll. What should be the alternate color when we have 2 gigs in a weekend?
Right. Anything but white. Anything but white.
Yeah,
We can't do white. We'll get jacked up. But I think like gray, black.
Black.
I like gray. I think gray is really sick. But do they make any other colors?
I don't know. Can we get a custom pink one to match the SCE logo?
That'd be ridiculous.
Come on, dog. If we get pink tracksuits and we're shuffling as you play nothing but drops.
We just go out on the dance floor and we shuffle in succinct in order, just
Like the exact moves. Oh man.
Like all fucking day. Oh, real quick. So I did want to give you guys a piece of advice, okay? Real quick. If you're gonna learn something in this show, learn this, right? All DJs, listen up. Buy a fucking 360 camera, okay? Invest in a 360 camera. I don't know what's good now. Mine's a little old now because there's been newer ones that came out. I have an Insta360 1X, but buy a 360 camera. You can get the coolest shots. Look at the shot I got. Right, I got this at the venue, the same venue we had Say Yes to the Dress or whatever, because the venue was circle, right? The fisheye made it kind of circle, so it's super symmetrical, right? And I got a lot of love from it. It got shared by Beat Source, it got shared by Crossfader, you know what I mean? And it's all because of the symmetry. And I want to point out too, you know what one thing would have fucked this whole photo up? You know what would have fucked up the symmetry of this entire photo? You know what it is? You know what I'm going to say, right? If I had a fucking Rain 1. If I had a Rain 1, the whole thing would have been hanging to the fucking left, and it would have looked like shit, and no one would have gave a shit about this photo, okay? But because I do not have a Rain 1, and I don't have a crooked-ass setup, the symmetry makes for a beautiful photo. Just wanted to point that out. That's
hilarious.
Out. So get a 360 camera, people. It makes for great friggin' content. It really does.
Was that a one take, by the way?
That was no, because
okay.
I took it like 4 times. Remember those photographers were in a room, just in a group, like just.
They were huddled up.
Yeah, they're huddled up, just talking. Yeah. I'm like, there is a guy in the background of that picture. If you see it, like you could barely see it, like way past like my laptop. But he was that dude that was painting that picture, that like boss ass picture.
Oh my god, I'm still mad at myself that we walked in and I'm like, oh, what do we got? Caricatures in here?
Yeah, right.
And he goes and he like literally paints the most beautiful like.
It was insane.
Yeah.
What he did was, it was interesting. This artist, it was like a live painting or whatever. It was a bougie wedding, and this artist actually, he would take pictures on his camera of the bride and groom, take a picture of the ballroom and all that, and then he would use those pictures to like paint over there. So I had him so that's how he got, like, he did the ballroom first. The ballroom was done, but there was no couple in the middle. And like, I was like, what's this guy doing? And then right after the first dance, he came up with a camera and was like, hey, kiss. And then he made him kiss, and he took a camera and then he painted them in. It was fucking nuts. Super bougie.
It's crazy.
What's your favorite venue?
So, I never remember the names of these venues.
What's Actually, you said Park Chateau, right?
Which one is that?
The one with the easy load in and the big ass ballroom. Wow, there's a lot of venues like that.
Park Chateau does sound familiar, but what's the one that we went to it a couple times? It has the barber chair like on the outside, and it has the cocktail.
Bearbrook.
I love Bearbrook for some reason. I just feel like it's the perfect size ballroom to have like a decent amount of people, but then it's like a big vibe outside.
Yeah, it really is a big vibe. And it's got the hour and a half cocktail hour. Major key.
The hour and a half cocktail hour is a cheat code for weddings.
Every venue should do it.
I think so, yeah.
Absolutely. That's another place with a house system, but like it's okay enough where like I just sneak in a sub and we're good. I just supplement it. You know what I mean? We got to do what we got to do. Fuck house system. Dude, you should have seen the house system on Sunday night. Santi,
Yeah,
it was
the way
awful.
you were describing it sounds really weird.
Bro, it was terrible. It was the worst system I ever heard in my life. Like I was literally, Paul's like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know, bro. You just got to cover your ass at this point. If they're not letting us bring in speakers, you just got to cover your ass. You just got to like just lightly remind the bride, like, hey, the system's really bad. And I'm going to do the best I can because there's no way we're going to successfully find. Like, it was a huge tent. It was one of those tents. Of course, I'm not a big fan of tents because they never do it right. Because it's usually like, fits 500 people and then they got 175 seats. You know what I mean? Right. So the dance floor is the size of a basketball court. You can't. So you barely fit like 100 people on the dance floor. It still looks empty. It's just whack. And that system was absolutely trash. I'm putting it in our contract. Like I'm gonna tell Jan I.
Did the venue say anything like once you brought your speakers in, like, holy shit, sounds great?
No, of course not. They're assholes. They didn't give a shit. They didn't want to admit it. They want to admit what a real speaker system. We were using EV too. It wasn't even, it was all right. EKX.
Right. Yeah, right.
It was a Paul stuff. It was all right. They sound good. They sound solid. I'm not gonna talk shit. They sound solid. Not RCF, but
what kind of what size subs are the
18s? Dual 18s, and literally the same system I have, only EV. Wooden boxes, so it's like a little heavier or whatever. Yeah, fuck the rain one. Shout out to John. Hey, what's up, bro? Woo pig. Too funny, man. Anything you want to plug or anything while you're on here? What you been up to, man?
I don't really have anything to plug. I used to stream on Twitch like regularly, but started working at the gym trying to get jacked, so I don't have a regular stream schedule.
Yeah, if you guys want to know our future, me and Santi are going to be jacked DJs in tracksuits shuffling at every single wedding. We're just going to be just Slavic squatting and shuffling all over every damn venue in the future. Me and him have both been hitting the gym. We're getting jacked.
We're gonna get jacked.
We're gonna have matching traps, and it's just gonna be like, yo, those jack guys. You had those jack guys at the wedding, right? I just want to be known as the jack guys. They don't even know our name. It's just the dude with the. I'm gonna grow a mustache, and he's gonna have his beard, and so the one jack guy's got a big thick ass Magnum PI mustache, and then the other guy's got a fucking beard. That's gonna be our fucking shit.
You can't mistake us.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. I want to do some scratching shit with you too, man. The people need to see what you do, man. Santi learned how to scratch in like 4 seconds. I remember Santi had like a little scribble thing that he did that sounded okay, and that was it. And I remember I showed him how to chirp years and years and years ago, and he sort of understood, and that was it. And I sent him, and that was it. And we didn't talk about it again. And I swear to God, he came back like later that night and knew how to fucking triple click flare. It just seems so fast, like out of nowhere. You're just like, yeah, I've been working on this. Check this out. I'm like, ew, how the fuck do you even do that? Like, he got so good so fast, and it's just because of your crazy ass
regiment,
boot camp regiment. Yeah. And I want you to share it with the people, man. I mean, we got to like set something up. Like,
okay.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, dude. It's just interesting. I mean, if you want to share a little bit, you can. I mean, I just think it's fucking interesting.
I'm just like one of those people where I recently discovered the calendar app on like on my Apple devices. So like I set up all my calendars through there. So like I hate wasted time. So like I would set like, all right, I'm gonna work on cuts for like an hour and a half, take a break. Now I'm gonna work on Ableton for an hour and a half, and I would literally plan out my day, and it would be like that 365 unless we had a wedding. And even when we had a wedding, I was like, all right, that's gonna be a day where I just cut because I'm gonna end up opening. So like let me at least get like comfortable with my like fader hand or whatever. And then like that was 5 years ago, right? How long? No, seven, maybe six.
Maybe six.
So that was 6 years ago.
But you were flaring in a year, easily, less than a year. You had that chirp flare. We did a video routine. The first little video we did together, like with like a routine. You chirp flared, and that was end of 2016. So you got it down like fast. And then after that, you just got into crazy stuff, your boomerangs and your autobahns and all that other stuff. But like. Yeah, you got good so fast, dude. It's insane. Like, I wish I had the it just goes to show, man, practice. It's just all about practice. If you can just put in the time and actually practice and just, like steady with it, like it's like a workout, right? Like you literally just like
I set it as a workout. So like every day like will be a specific cut. I mean, I juggle every day, but like every day will be a specific cut after the juggles, you know what I'm saying? So I'll get loose with juggles, and then I'll like, all right, this is a day and I have all my like tempos written that I've pushed all of my scratches. So like I can chirp like single time up to 98. So next time it's a chirp day, I'm like, all right, let me see if I can get it to 99. And then, we keep that progression going. So I kind of set it up just like a workout.
So the BPMs are like weight, essentially.
Exactly.
Right? You just add weight and you get stronger and stronger. So you get a little faster, and you just slowly, gradually bring it up, right?
And then after time, I develop these things called drills where like I have like these set patterns and ideas that like are like kind of like sets. And then I do those sets for like extended time, and then it ends up being a practice session. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's probably not healthy to think like that, but it's just how I had to do it.
You're definitely a psychopath, but like it worked. It's insane. I mean, it is. I mean, it goes to show, it's repetition. I mean, that's what really scratching is such a precise art that like it just takes tons of repetition over and over again. Anybody can learn to scratch, no matter how old you are, how long you've been in the game. You just got to put in the time and do it, and have the interest and enjoy doing it, And it's one of those things too where you really got to listen to yourself suck over and over and over again until one day it's like, oh, I got it. Mom, I'm chirping. You know what I mean? And you fucking, and you're bugging. You're actually like doing it. Like, at least that's what happened with me with like the 2 cuts I know how to do.
But it never ends though. Like you heard me sound trash the other day. We were just talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not like one day you're like not going to be trash.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's because you got nervous, but yeah. You were camera shy. Now I know. now I know you be camera shy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it just shows like a lot of DJs. It's just an intimidating thing. That's why I would love to dive into that with you. You know what I mean? And like, cause like it's an intimidating thing for a lot of DJs to learn. They think like, I can't tell you how many DJs came up to me and was like, yo, dude, like, there's no way I can learn how to scratch. I'm old. I'm like 50, man. There's no way. It's like, dude, just fucking put in time. You learn it. You can learn it in months. Like literally in months, you can learn how to, you can have some really good scratches down if you stay consistent. 5 days a week, 7 days a week if you can. Just 1 hour a day, just every day, just doing it. And you can learn. Anybody can learn. It's literally consistency. Like there's no other secret, right?
There's no other secret. And the problem is that a lot of people get that stigma like, I'll never learn because they're watching YouTube videos of like Craze, Scratch Bastard, Four Color Zach, and they're like,
and how do you even break that down?
How do you break that down? And they're like 20 years in. It's like, to not see it from like a smaller stage is like, it seems daunting. Just like if you were to watch like a basketball game, you're like, man, I can't shoot like that. But they've been playing basketball for like their whole life.
Yeah. But it doesn't take a lifetime to learn how to scratch like that either. You know what I mean? You can like, like Scratch Bastard and all that shit. Like you can find in that funk, but like the actual technicality of the cuts, like you can learn how to chirp in a couple of weeks if you just stay consistent. You can learn how to flare, and it like I'm sure if I actually did it for a couple of weeks straight, and I literally did it like an hour a day for a couple of weeks straight, I'm sure I'd get a flare down. I'm dying for that scratch, but I just haven't.
I think you can learn any of those scratches in a day. It's just about getting the tempos. Like I think anybody can learn a chirp, orbitals, boomerang, anything at like a slower tempo, but it's like applying it when you get to the 90s and stuff like that, where it's like,
speeding it up because the faster you go, the more precise you have to be.
Yeah.
So like speeding up is like the hardest part. You go fast and then you lose your technique. It's just got to be exactly perfect. And that's another thing though. Like, so it's such a precise art. Scratching is so precise that like. It's also if you don't know how to do a particular scratch yet, then like it's just gonna sound like shit until you get it down, So it's like one of those things too. It's like I see a lot of DJs that like maybe like do scratches live that maybe it's a little early for that. Maybe they should practice it just a little more. You know what I mean? Because it can kind of make your shit sound like shit as well. So it's like a fine line, I guess. I don't know, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I can't tell. Sometimes I have a few drinks on my Tuesday night streams, on Twitch, and I'm like, what? Let me try this test, see if it works. Nope, didn't work. Okay, forget that happened, people. Don't clip shit. Keep it moving.
Just gets everybody to clip it.
Yeah, literally, and then everybody clips it, and everybody sees my fucking train wreck of a cut. But yeah, man, we got to dive into that because I think that's something that a lot of people sleep on, and you can do at weddings too, you cut it in your opening set, you scratch the whole thing. I try and scratch more and more as I can, in sets and stuff, and that's another thing. So if I start playing trap, I need to learn how to scratch to a 70 BPM beat. I can't scratch to a 70 BPM beat to save my life.
It's interesting because you can scratch better at the 90s, whereas like 90s for me are tough, whereas like. But 70s for me are like easy.
I cannot scratch on a 70 beat. It's just too slow. It's either like I go fast or then the double time is like too fast for me. It's fucking hard as shit. I just can't do it. I need to find. We're gonna work on some combinations right after we hang up here. Or let's cut it up. Let's cut it up. Yeah. Before we dip out of here though, people, any questions you want to ask us or whatever? I'll bring Santi on again too. He's right down the road. Me and him live right down the road from each other, so it's fun to kind of cut it up, talk about our weekends and everything. My first live guest. It's so much better live. I don't have to deal with no friggin', the whatever, the video calls and all that shit. It's so much better live. You can hear it perfect. I can hear you in my headphones.
You gotta say, it's so weird though, because we've had maybe thousands of conversations in this room, and this whole time I'm like nervous as hell this whole time.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
You scared?
I think it's the lights. I think it's the lights with the cameras.
It's the lights and the camera and the action. It's a studio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just the same thing that happened at the wedding. It's like when it feels too official, I'm like, oh man.
See, it's not every day you step into a advanced studio like this.
It's set up.
Advanced studio. I just keep thinking of Mike Walter just to.
I'm mad that I couldn't hear it.
Oh yeah, you can't hear the music?
Right.
PHDJ podcast. We interrupt this podcast to tell you a very special announcement. I want to tell you a story. I don't know. You got to hear it. When we get done, I'm gonna everybody go listen to the PHDJ podcast. There's lots of nuggets in there, lots of good shit that you're gonna learn. But then also check out the commercials. You'll see what the fuck I was talking about. I'm gonna blow this up after. I think it was funny as shit. What is Santi's favorite song to scratch on? Frankie wants to know, what's your favorite song to scratch on? Yeah.
This is a weird choice, but I really like Stand, the instrumental to Stand by Eminem. Because when I was growing up, I actually
think of that.
That's the one where he's talking to a fan, where his fan is writing him like, how didn't you like? I can't even think, but it's like a fan writing to Eminem, and like Eminem's writing back. But anyways, like I know those words, so like I try to scratch to the actual words and try to make like the sounds of the scratch.
That's a good idea.
Be the thing. So that's right now at least it's like 80. I think it's like 80 BPM.
That's also a good way to practice scratching and getting different combos down if you already know how to scratch. You know what I mean? Like if you know how to transform stuff like that, like I'll like sometimes put on a beat in the same way and like try and like scratch the words. You know, exactly. So you're like and scratch the actual flow of the song, and it definitely helps out big time with that.
100%.
Joe said, "Have my first wedding gig this weekend. Any tips for me as an MC and DJ for my assistant? Just prepare, just over prepare. Have like every announcement you got to make, have it written down on your sheet, have everything laid out. Just over prepare for everything. Every request having a crate, like everything, have tons of music ready to go. Make sure you're not going to run out of music, not going to run out of things to play. You're prepared for every type of genre, everything."
Have the cue set for the assistant.
Have the cue set too for intros if you're doing anything like that. Have everything set for him in order with cues. Make it where it's just like, make it where your assistant doesn't have to think. You know what I mean? Make it as simple as possible, because like in the moment, you know, especially if you guys are newer doing it and you're nervous, you know, that's when you can make little mistakes and whatnot. Weddings are 90% preparation, people. 90% preparation, 10% execution. So as long as you prepare, you'll be good to go. You'll kill it. Thanks for the stream. One question I have is I don't know why this shit's showing up black. Like, that's kind of weird, honestly. I don't know if it's a, let me see if I can just make this white real quick. Did that work? Bam, there we go. Thanks for the stream, Nick. One question I have is, I'll bring it back up. How does Santi transition between vast Spanish genres, salsa, merengue, bachata?
All the poppies worldwide are going to be mad at me.
Here we go.
I'm not really a Spanish DJ. I'm like a super hip hop head. I love like old music. I rarely play Spanish music.
Well, there's that. I knew you were going to say that.
Poppies worldwide are going to hate me.
That's it. Someone said need to do a New Jersey NY scratch session. Let's go. If Santi was to DJ his own wedding, what would be his go-to song to get people dancing? Bad and Bougie?
Nah, to start that. So wait, like the first one, like when we're talking about like.
Yeah. What would be your go-to?
I'd honestly have to rip from you, and it's a song that I've seen you use, and it works like almost any type of crowd, and I like the song, and that's September.
Yeah, September, baby.
September.
Can't go wrong with September.
Can't go wrong with September.
Stan. Yeah, I'm gonna go listen to Stan. I'm sure I know. I don't know off the top of my head. Tips for annoying people. I need security. Yeah, I don't know. Just I will say though, like having Santi just up there with me, like Santi stands behind me, like on the facade, and I'm DJing and whatnot. A lot of times, people will come up to like do a request, and they'll go to Santi. They'll realize they'll kind of look at me, kind of in the zone, I guess, and be like, don't want to bother him, and then they'll go ask Santi.
That happens all the time.
So it helps a little bit, but they'll still kind of like bother you or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. No advice for annoying people, man. I don't know. It's part of the game.
How do you feel about like these DJs that are like setting up the QR code where you like sent the.
Oh yeah, this guy just hit me up again. It's a requestnow.com or something. He was like, "Hey man," he sent me an email and he was like, "Hey dude, like I just invested in all your playlists. Like thank you so much. And by the way, I'd love for you to review my Request Now app that I designed or whatever." And you know, I just don't like them, dude. I hate. I don't want. That
just opens for more requests.
Yeah, you're opening up a Pandora box. Oh, by the way, if you weren't going to request something, now it's really easy. So now you will. Now we're gonna have 10. Now that's just another thing I got to deal with at weddings. Like and
makes sense.
some couples don't even want their guests to request songs. It's just why I'm just not. I'd rather do my thing. I'm not about it. So I got to email them back and just say, hey, sorry, man, but like I'm not. You know, I'm just not with the request. But I'm sure it's a cool app. Request Now, I think it's called. Look them up. How long did it take to get to where you were ready to scratch live at a show? That's a good question. I don't know. Oh, wow. I don't know. I was scared forever. I remember even like thinking about like when I first started scratching at weddings, like it was very minimal. Like when I like say I trickled it in. Like do you remember when I first started? It was just babies. Like
babies. I
would do little babies, and I remember you would call me part-time cutter. You would literally make fun of me.
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Yo, hey, part-time cutter."
Because
you good set, part-time cutter.
Yeah. Because I knew you would practice it. You were practicing your cuts.
Yeah.
And then you go to the thing, you're like, no, I'm not going to try any of these cuts I tried at my house.
Yeah, literally. I'm practicing my ass off. I finally got it down. I showed Santi, yo, I got this shit down. Check it out. And he'd be like, yeah. And then I wouldn't do it at all. I was like, yep, part-time cutter.
Part-time cutter.
Part-time cutter. Yeah, I gradually like mixed it in just a little bit, because it's nervous. It's almost like learning how to mix it. It's almost like the same nervousness like when I first like learned how to beat mix and I started beat mixing live. And like, oh my god, I don't want to mess up this beat mix. And I'm tapping my foot like so hard it's going through the floor. Because dude, you gotta understand. I don't know if I told you, but like when I started DJing, I didn't beat mix. Like I wasn't taught that way.
So were you just fading out?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Who taught me? The person who brought me on and taught me, this guy Charlie Rashika. A1 Entertainment, South Jersey. Right. I don't know what he does now, but like back then he didn't mix. He had one mix. He mixed Billie Jean with Double Dutch Bus, but it would take him like a year to get it right. You know what I mean? He's like, this is how. That was like the first time I ever seen anybody mix doing that. But all the sets he showed me, like when my backbone was MC based. Like I would MC and I would teach line dances and I would do like different gimmicks and all that stuff. That's how I got people going. Like when I first started, I didn't learn how to mix till later. So I remember when I learned how to beat mix, right, and I started getting it down a little bit. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this at an event. I was so scared. It was like, oh my god, I mess this up. I'm fucking tapping my foot so hard, just put my foot through the floor. Finally got it. You know, same thing with scratching. When I started incorporating scratching, it was just like little by little. All right, let me just try scratching this out. You know what I mean? And I would mess up, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that again. That's fuck. You know what the hell? You know, because I was just so nervous. And then now, you know, it just gets like anything else. You know, it's just like anything else you're comfortable with at a wedding. You know.
I think that if you really are like nervous about scratching, I think Twitch is like the perfect play to practice because like you'll be able to do it in a place where you're doing it one take. So you'll be able to look back and be like, well, did that really sound good or not? And then if it doesn't sound good, then you know you're not ready to scratch out live.
That's a really good point. Like, try your scratches out on Twitch first, because it's just as nerve-wracking on Twitch. You're still in front of an audience. I remember, like, to this day, I still try out some scratches that are a little too advanced for me, and I try out and I bomb it or do good or whatever. And you can listen back to it. So you record all your Twitch streams. You can listen back and watch it and see if it really did sound good. And you're going to get rid of your nerves. You know, if you get comfortable just cutting on Twitch in front of people, it's really the same thing at weddings. For me, anyway. I think it's like the same, because I got the same nervousness. Who has a better beard, Santi or Modest Yahoo? Santi.
I don't even know who that is.
What, you don't know Modest Yahoo?
No.
Oh, he's got some. Dude, you'd fuck with him. You got to check out his album.
What is?
It's like
really?
It's not reggae. It's like he had a couple hits, but then his albums are pretty solid too. It's like a mix between reggae and
What is it called?
Modest Yahoo. Check. Definitely save one of his albums. What's the best needles for HQ listening? I use Phase for DJing, so I don't have needles anymore. I actually recently got the Ortofon vinyls, VNYLs. Oh, shout out Disco Worm, by the way. My man Disco Worm. I use the Ortofon vinyl, they're called. They're like the M447 replacements. They're like M447s. They're not going to replace your M447s. But they're similar to them, and I like them a lot. That's what I've been using currently.
I vouch for them, too. Those things are great.
Like
a super phase.
Yeah, they sound good, right?
Yeah, they do sound good.
Have you heard of OBS Ninja? No, I use Ecamm Live, William. I use Ecamm Live. I should be putting these questions up here. Yeah, for sure, man. Practice it up, Scott. Anybody can learn how to cut. And
you really only need 3 cuts: the baby, the stab, and the chirp.
And you can do plenty of combinations. And then transforms are fun too.
Transforms. But I think everybody can transform. They got to learn how to do it rhythmically.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right, Oscar said, how many songs do you use in your sets? Ask many. How many songs do you think I play at a wedding?
We mix fast.
Like for a wedding dance set, that is, not dinner. Like, what would you say, like total all night?
I would say there's no way it's less than like 100. There's no way it's less than 100.
Yeah, I'll say like 100, 150, something like that, depending on how fast I mix or what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Because there's sometimes where like the dinner, even when dinner's like late and you have like this like super small set and you're just going like, and you're still hitting 100. You know what I'm saying? Like
those are my favorite when it's like, oh, everything ran late, so we only have 25 minutes to dance them at the end. It's like, all right, everyone's head's gonna explode because I'm still gonna play the same shit, only faster. Throw it all in.
Yep.
Sometimes I just mix choruses. Like I on our wedding Saturday, I mixed like 3 choruses in a row. I was doing like R&B shit, and I just did like or no, it was hip hop. I think I did like bottoms up, chorus only, then walk it out, chorus only, then INDEPENT, only chorus. Then I went into something else, like, you know what I mean, just chorus, you know, because the older songs that are like that, you might want to just play the chorus. And you, because you go into the verse, you'll watch when you go into those verses of the older songs that people like, you know, just remember like the main part because it was on the radio. Then the verse comes on and you watch the energy just drain out of the floor because the verse is on. There's like, that happened with me with Boosie with the INDEP, you know, the independent song. Same thing. So I started actually, because I told you guys about that. That was on my list last week, I believe. This weekend, I started doing just the chorus. So I would repeat the chorus. So I have a cue right at the chorus, right in the beginning of the song where it does the INDEP, whatever. And then I bring it back again. And the second time I play the chorus, then I mix out of it. I don't do the verse anymore because I was losing energy during the verse. I
think that's also about reading the room, because if you see a guy on the dance floor and he has a grill on, you got to let that verse rock.
Yeah, I guess
you
you're
know
right. If he's got a gray, you got to keep that shit moving.
Yeah, if he's got a grill on, he got a chain on, you got to let the verse rock. That's his pinnacle of the night right there.
That's it. That's his moment. Boosie on the track.
Literally.
That's funny as shit, man. I don't know, but this was fun, man. Thanks for coming on, Santi.
I appreciate you.
How much do I owe you?
$0. My bad. I'm over here like shifting and shit. My bad if I seem super nervous up here, but
no, you look good.
Yada, yada.
This is our set, man. Now I have I got a whole studio set, people. We can do more than one, and then now I'll have this camera tonight. I'm streaming on Twitch, 9:30. I'll be on tonight, and this is gonna be the Steph cam, so you'll be able to see Steph too, whenever. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
word?
we're gonna do a
lit.
Steph cam because she's always like dying or talking shit in the background,
Exactly.
and no one can see what's going on. So now I'm just gonna be like, blah. Here you are. You're all, and she's gonna get nervous too. She gets very camera shy. But it should be fun. Twitch tonight, people. I appreciate you guys all for joining us and whatnot. Like, comment, subscribe for the algorithms. Really means a lot. Share the show too, people. Every Tuesday at noon. Let your DJ friends know. We got Mike Walter on next week. That's going to be a great ass time. Very, very. I have a lot I want to ask him. A lot I want to talk about. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. Lots to learn from that man for sure. And yeah, I appreciate all of you. Seriously. Thank you all. Peace out.